Tens of millions of Americans have not had to make federal student loan payments for more than 3 years because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
But now that might be about to change. The Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget estimates that the pause has cost the U.S. $5 billion a month since the spring of 2020. Add that all up, and it totals an estimated $195 billion since it began.
But this debt ceiling bill that we've been discussing, it's sitting in the Senate now, it guarantees the end of this payment pause. It passed the House by a comfortable margin of votes just last night. Joining us now to speak about what happens next is CBS News reporter Sarah Ewall-Wice. Sarah, always great to see you. Explain for us this provision in the debt ceiling deal that would effectively revive these student loan repayments.
Yeah, so the debt ceiling deal includes some Republican priorities, which include ending the student loan payment pause, which has really been in effect since the beginning of the pandemic in 2020. The deal guarantees that the administration not extend the federal student loan pause again. And just keep in mind, this was actually first implemented under President Trump, but it had been extended 5 times since President Biden took office, most recently in November. The deal says that the pause would end 60 days after June 30th, and the Education Secretary cannot extend it. What is interesting here is even though this is stated in the deal, the Biden administration had previously said in its most recent announcement of extending the pause that it would end 60 days after June 30th or sometime this summer anyway. So this really just locks that in, preventing them from taking another route later on this summer.
Sarah, I'm wondering if people have been preparing for this pause to end and are ready now to start making their payments. And for any of our viewers who are now scared hearing this news, are there going to be supports from the federal government moving forward?
So there are a lot of questions right now about what will actually happen with student loans and student loan payments. And that is because we're waiting on the Supreme Court to rule on President Biden's student loan forgiveness. He's actually trying to provide up to $10,000 in student loan forgiveness for borrowers who are eligible, and another up to $20,000 for Pell Grant recipients. I think it's interesting here because while this has received pushback, that whole deal could cost about $400 billion. But the administration actually announced the end of the payment pause to coincide with that forgiveness program being able to implement that in the end of June. Or if it ends up being blocked in terms of legal challenges, 60 days after June 30th. So the Biden administration has that, and they've been focused closely on it, but they've also been doing some other things to help implement efforts to provide borrowers relief. Some things like reworking the income-driven repayment program or the public service forgiveness programs, which have actually already provided billions of dollars in relief for eligible borrowers. So we're kind of in a waiting game right now. I think the most important thing that people can do right now is make sure that their student loan servicer has their most up-to-date contact information, and the Education Department says it will be also reaching out to borrowers before the pause ends. So keep an eye out for communications moving forward.
Yeah, people really have to stay on top of this. You've walked through some of the legal challenges and where they stand right now. I'm just wondering if, because this is a divisive issue, some folks feel as if, look, the kids got their education, young people, you know, we all benefit from an educated society, and other folks feel that I had to pay my student loan back, why shouldn't the next person? Has public sentiment changed in any way that you've been able to notice as all these legal challenges unfold?
You know, I think this really is a dividing issue among those who support the forgiveness and those who do not. Of course, the Supreme Court heard this case earlier this year. They could make their ruling on the forgiveness program any day now. And so we should have some more information, and we'll know this summer whether that will be something where people can actually expect those tens of thousands of dollars in forgiveness, up to $20,000 in forgiveness, or not. That is something to keep in mind. I know that there have been some real criticisms of the administration for this, but also some Democrats have been pushing this and have campaigned on this for years.
We'll keep watching it closely. Great to have you with us, Sarah Ewall-Wice.
Thank you. Thank you.